Durham,
No.
it is round 3 of the playoffs. And before we even start talking about the teams that's moving on and going home, we got to give a shout out.
Got to give a shout out to the J.H. Rose cheerleaders for bringing us in this week. Round 3 of the playoffs, like you just said.
Round 3. Thank you, Round Pod cheerleaders.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. But, Sean, this has been a good week that we had.
A great week, Daryl, because we got some teams moving on and some teams starting that early basketball season.
Yep.
And we haven't had a chance to really talk about our West teams this year on the show, so I'm going to just talk about them right quick. Then we'll get to our teams right in our own backyard.
All right.
Some of those West teams that we're familiar with. Mount Airy, defending champ, 1A.
Yeah.
Then you got Robinsonville, another one of those 1A schools that just always be around the playoff in the Sweet 16 round. East Wills. Then let's jump to 3A. You got Hickory. We just talked to Coach Joe Glasswood a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, still in it.
Had to definitely get them back on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Dudley Panthers, another one of those teams that got to the end last year, played Hickory and didn't win. Hickory advanced the state championship. North Lincoln, Ashbrook, Grimsley up there in 4A, Mallet Creek in 4A, and then the defending champs, Waddington, up there in 4A. So a lot of teams in the West that we're familiar with still hanging around. And, of course, you know our teams in the East, we'll talk about that. But, Daryl, before we could even talk about these teams in the East.
Before we could talk about
we got something that's on the set.
We got something new on the set, Sean.
We got a lot of stuff this school sent for the set. So we truly appreciate that. But we have the J.H. Rose helmet, Daryl. Coach Bland gifted us this helmet.
Yep.
You know what he said, don't you?
What did he say?
When we had a chance to talk on Saturday, he said, I see a lot of helmets, a plethora of helmets on yourself. All these illustrious teams all over the ENC.
Right.
But there's no J.H. Rose.
So he had to add it to the show.
He had to add it. You know, he had to add it. You'll be hearing more from Coach Bland as the show progresses on.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Daryl, without further ado, let's jump into the Grit and Grind Rewind and talk about what happened last week. Daryl, we had a good game in 4A football.
Definitely a good game in 4A football.
Hoggard versus Leesville Road, and we split on that one.
Yeah, definitely split. I took Hoggard.
I took Leesville Road. I tell you, I like the name. I still ain't. They still have not texted me the address.
They text you the
address. I got to find that school. You told me how to get there, but I got to find it. But tell me about this Hoggard Leesville Road game because it was a defensive strategy match game.
Oh yeah, back and forth. This team, Hoggard came into this game 10-1. Leesville Road at the time was 10-1 as well. And it was a defensive battle because Hoggard wound up winning the game 14-7.
Okay.
And Hoggard jumped on them first in that first quarter, and after that, it was just more of a defensive battle. And eventually, Leesville Road scored late in the fourth quarter. But Hoggard at that point already had them up by 2 touchdowns. So Hoggard took care of business like they were supposed to, and then they're moving on to the next round. But, Sean, you had a game, too, at Southwest Edgecombe versus Wallace Rose.
Yes, I did have a good game over there, Southwest Edgecombe versus Wallace Rose Hill in Teaching, North Carolina, in the dog pound up there in Teaching. But before I could talk about that game there was a big upset in the western part of North Carolina. Yeah. We will be crowning a new 2A North Carolina high school state champion. If you're unaware, you had the 2A defending champs, Reesville up there Rams versus the East Rutherford Cavaliers, and they lost 27-26. And if you know about this Reesville team, you know about the heavily recruited Kendra Harrison for basketball and football. He's ranked number 1, I believe, in both sports.
Yeah,
he was
trying to get him.
Yes, they are. There's a hot
pursuit
pursuit with him.
hard on that.
He was the ranked number 1 in both sports. He was the ranked number 1 player in both sports in North Carolina. And I want to say also in the United States of America last time I checked. So big loss for them. But if you're East Rutherford Cavaliers from Forest City, you went in there and guess what? You got a big upset.
That was a big time upset.
That is probably one of the biggest wins in that program's history of that game there.
Because we saw that team last year when they played Clinton.
And you got to double team Harrison. You got
to.
Well, Daryl, another game we had right here in our backyard was, as you said earlier, Southwest Edgecombe versus Wallace Rose Hill, the dog pound. Good test for Southwest Edgecombe, but just too much Wallace Rose Hills for them at the dog pound, too much firepower. And you look at this Wallace Rose Hill team, they play some good 4A teams.
Yeah.
They had to get prepared for this game. They had that slip up, and I'm still going to call it a slip up. I looked at the film against North Lenoir. No disrespect to the Hawks of North Lenoir, because that was a good caliber win. But it was a slip up for Wallace Rose Hill, because one of those games that, you know, as good as this team is with the players, you're supposed to win that one. But if you're Southwest Edgecombe, you want to come back next season, reload it. You got to the second round. Last year you got to the third round. It's a young team.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a young team that can come back and do a lot next season, Daryl. Well, Daryl, it's time to talk about the grit and grind.
Prime time.
Game of the week last week in the Nest, in the Firebirds Funhouse. The Southern Nash Firebirds hosting the J.H. Rose Ramparts in the second round of the playoffs, Daryl.
And like you said, Southern Nash coming into this game, I think at the time they was, 9-2, 9-3?
Yeah, they was coming in very good.
And
J.H. Rose came in 3-8.
3-8. And J.H. Rose jumped on them early and made plays, and, just like this run right here. And that pretty much set the tone for the whole game, is basically which team could, flex their muscles on each other. And in the first quarter, J.H. Rose was able to do that. But Southern stayed in the game. I mean, you got Hartsfield right here running the ball for them and was able to get the ball down the field.
And if you're J.H. Rose, you came into this game in Southern Nash, you stunned the Firebirds in their stadium, and you was able to play balanced football.
Right.
They are a heavy pass team.
Right.
They were able to establish the run on the Southern Nash defense.
Right.
And you can see right there the running back, once again, getting open, catching those passes in the open field and making those corrections. J.H. Rose was just able to come in and control the clock and control the tempo of the game, Dad.
That was the biggest thing. You said it best, control the tempo of the game, and that's what J.H. Rose was able to do. But Southern Nash hung in there, had an opportunity to make some plays to keep the game close late in the third, fourth quarter, but unfortunately wasn't able to get the win. But shout out to J.H. Rose for the win.
Right, because if you're in the playoffs right now, especially J.H. Rose, you want to do exactly what we said they are. They're the road warriors right now. They have to go on the road, and you want to go in and be able to get ahead early so you don't have to play catch up. But, Daryl, let's hear from the Friday night grit and grind players of the game right here from the J.H. Rose Ramparts. Welcome back to the Grit and Grind. It's time to find out who was tonight's Friday night round 2 of the playoffs Grit and Grind player of the game. With me, we have our grind player. What's your name, young man?
Tevin Council.
Tevin Council, congratulations. Daryl, who we have tonight?
Domani
Was our grit player. Now tell me, Tevin, we the grind player tonight. Majority of this game, you was able to set the tone with a lot of good runs that I watched you run on Southern Nash. Just tell me, what was going on tonight coming into this game? What was your mind at?
My line just had a bunch of holes, and I was just taking them, just reacting off of what they was giving. And it was all.
And on the defensive side, Dominic, I mean, I saw you all over the field. You was able to stop the run. What was the thing that you was able to do as far as what the coaches had you as the game plan going into this game?
Got to defense, get stops, and just hold my team out and win the game.
All right.
Well, congratulations, Tevin and Domani, for being tonight's grit and grind player of the game. And best of luck next week in round 3. We'll tell you watching.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations to Tevin and Domani for being the Friday night's grit and grind players of the game, Daryl. But it would not be good if we could not hear from the winning coach of this game,
Yeah, definitely.
Coach Will Bland. So let's go hear what Coach Will Bland had to say about his Ramparts coming into Southern Nash and stunning and getting a very decisive win in Firebird Stadium. Welcome back to the Grit and Grind. With me tonight, we have the winning coach, Coach Bland. Coach Bland, congratulations on the good night.
Appreciate it. Congratulations. I appreciate it.
I think you may got something for the Grit and Grind, Coach.
I do. I see. You said something earlier about planting the flag when they came to us in Nash.
Gotta go to Northern Nash.
I got to make one statement.
You made some statements
I
last
said
week.
last week that Northern Nash would roll right into Pitt County.
That's what you said.
Get a win like always. Get right there to that little county line where we got a piece of green right there that we own. Plant that flag that says welcome to Nash County.
Well,
and it looks like they did it again.
Well, and J.H. Rose was about to take that flag.
They heard me. They heard me.
Northern Nash got
I did. You did. We want to get it out.
I said when Northern Nash came to J.H. Rose, they planted the Indian flag. Well, guess what, Grit and Grind? J.H. Rose just came in my backyard in Nash County and planted their symbol right here on the Grit and Grind. I love the Grit and Grind tonight.
I forgot about that.
Coach Bland, I promise you, I will wear this on our set, Brian. And also, we got a helmet coming.
Coming to you. Come get it, and it'll be right there on the set.
We got a helmet from James Rose. You heard it live right here on the show from James Rose with Coach Bland. Second round of playoffs. Congratulations. You're not James Rose. You're the Road Warriors. Been able to go to Northern Nash last week, get a win. Come in Southern Nash. Tough place to play to get a win. Tell me, how did you get your guys prepared this week for this big game?
It's just, the whole season, everybody, all the boys, they came out, had a great game. The last 3 games, I thought they did a great job, and, it's just the resilience, the fight, and just the determination. I can't be so proud of you guys. I go to war with you now, too. Great bunch of guys.
And on the defensive side of the ball, you stopped a good team at Southern Nash that loves to run the ball. What was it that y'all was able to do on defense that slowed that run game down?
We had to knuckle down. They scored on the first drive, I think. We just told them, guys, we got to fight. We got to fight for everything. You got to be more physical than that group right there. And the guys came out, got some turnovers, a couple of turnovers, but then they fought through the whole game and got some big stops. And, they get some stops on our offense and we try to keep points on the board.
Well, congratulations on a good win, Coach. Next week, third round of playoffs. Tell me how you going to get your boys prepared, because y'all are the Road Warriors. Been able to go on the road and keep winning all these games. And everybody knows James Rose is just playing the best football at the right time.
Oh, that's right. It's about who you play. Y'all said it on the show. Hey, it's about, we set up a non-schedule, conference schedule that's real hard. And, let's just reap the rewards right now. We get to come out here and show what we learned from our season, this season, going 2-8, and then, just put it in the playoff. And they've been doing a great job. So, we get to eat Thanksgiving dinner, or Thanksgiving breakfast on Thursday.
That's
and
right.
Go on
Yes,
Friday.
Lord.
I'm going to tell you one thing before we sign off. A good coach, when I used to coach, I used to always say, if you're practicing on Thanksgiving, you're a good football team.
Hey!
This is Sean and Durham from the Grit and Grind. We're signed off. Back to the studio. Darryl, we just heard about good friend Coach Bland.
He brought it back to your memory on that.
Yes, they brought it back to what I said, because I think Coach Bland said he wanted to make sure that I remember what I said. So I've been tasked by the entire J.H. Rose High School administration, students, staff, the entire city of Greenville, everybody that's involved with the J.H. Rose Ramparts program, that I got to make a statement. I got to do a retraction.
What you got to say?
J.H. Rose came down Highway 64 and Highway 264. And there's a sign there. They bought a smidget piece of land and they planted a J.H. Rose flag in front of that Welcome to Nash County sign and put a sign that says, Welcome to Pitt County, home of J.H. Rose right now.
That's what
To beat the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, not only did they beat both of two teams in Nash County, two teams that we talk about on the Grit and Grind, but they also, guess what they did? They made Sean on the Grit and Grind have to do a retraction over that statement and take that back. So I got to take it back, Darryl.
You got to take it back. Got to take it back. But definitely a good game.
Very good game for both teams.
Back and forth, like we said earlier in the game, in the show. And, shout out to Southern Nash. They wasn't fully loaded with one of their star players, but they still showed up.
Had a great game. A great show.
And had a great game. So,
and that was one thing me and Coach Bland did talk about, the future of where the conferences could go. J.H. Rose could be one of those schools that we see more involved on the Grit and Grind, which they already are, but going to be involved even more because they could be coming to a conference with Southern, Northern, Rocky Mountain, and other schools. So stuff still being worked up there in the mix of these conferences. Well, Darryl, we'll get ready to jump into a quick commercial break, then we'll be back right here on the Grit and Grind to find out who was this week's Grit and Grind player of the game.
The Information Technology Cybersecurity concentration at Nash Community College teaches students computer networks, information policy, and how to protect cloud and storage data. Cybersecurity students learn how to build and maintain firewalls and utilize data encryption programs. Students will also have the opportunity to gain real-world experience within their community with work-based learning opportunities. Information technology is a growing field, and once completed, students will have the knowledge and skills to start careers in the field working as cybersecurity analysts, information security analysts, and network system administrators. The cybersecurity concentration can be taken at 100% online for a degree or certificate. For more information about the cybersecurity program, visit nashcc.edu or call 252-443-4011.
Welcome back to the Grit and Grind, and now it's time to find out who was this week's Grit and Grind Player of the Week.
Sean, this week, Grit player is coming out of the game we just talked about, the Sun Nash J.H. Rose game. And I'm going with number 76, Demonte Edwards. He's got 65 tackles for the season. He's physical, and that is one of the biggest things you got to be if you're a Grit player, is physical. He's an interior lineman that plugs the hole. He stops the run, and he runs up the field to make tackles. And he's that type of player that you want on your defensive side of the ball, especially when those runs are coming up the middle. And so, Sean, this week, Grit player is number 76, Demonte Edwards from J.H. Rose. Sean, who's that grind player of the week?
This week's grind player, Darryl, I'm going to go right back to Pitt County. I'm going to stay right there with you in Pitt County, Darryl, and go right to J.H. Rose. And I got to go to the senior wide receiver, backup quarterback, Jaidon Lovett. And even in this Southern Nash game, he was a difference maker, and he was just millimeters and centimeters close of being the Friday night's player of the game. But I decided to wait and give it to him this week. He was a difference maker along with Tevin in this game. Every time they got down to 3rd and 2, 3rd and 5, Coach Bland would bring him in, the Wildcat formation, put him at quarterback, and either he would run for the first down or either figure out a way to get the ball to somebody to get it back to him for the first down. He truly was a tool used last Friday night to keep J.H. Rose keeping those chains moving up and down the field against Southern Nash. So I want to give congratulations to Jaidon Lovett, wide receiver quarterback out of J.H. Rose, and Domani Edwards out of J.H. Rose for being this week's Grit and Grind player of the game. Darryl, we'll get ready to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back on the Grit and Grind on Studio 67 for this week's Marquee Games of the Week and also the Grit and Grind Primetime Game of the Week. You're watching the Grit and Grind on Studio 67.
Nash Community College offers welding technology as a degree, diploma, or certificate. In this 5-semester program, students learn how to draw and read blueprints, the welding process, and welding safety. Students develop and master their skills in the classroom environments and real-world situations in NCC welding shops. With this degree or certificate, students can work as welders in a variety of fields such as construction, fabrication, and industrial maintenance. Most NCC graduates start out as entry-level technicians or welding apprentices working within the community. For more information on welding at Nash Community College, visit nashcc.edu or call 252-451-8270.
Back to the Great Grind!
Welcome back to the Grit and Grind. Darryl, gotta give a shout out to
Another shout out back to the J.H. Rose cheerleaders for bringing us back in.
somebody gonna say this is what the J.H. Rose
I
show
know
today. They gonna say the Coach Bland played the Grit and Grind for all this J.H. Rose footage today. But thank you, J.H. Rose, Lady Rampart cheerleaders, for bringing us back in. Darryl, it's time for the Grit and Grind Marquee Games of the Week. Darryl, our first game is coming out of 2A football. It is the 8-4 number 19 Kinston Vikings traveling to the number 6 8-4 Ayden Griffin in Charger Stadium off of Highway 11. Tough place to play
Definitely
in.
tough place to play. But you're
on
a road team.
I'm
Yeah.
a road team.
You're
And
on that bus.
I'm on the bus, and I got to tell you a lot about Kinston because I got
Okay.
a little message at the end that another statement. I'm going to tell you, people this week, this is the Sean Lucas bad week. Because people this week have been texting me saying, you got to retract some stuff and say some stuff that you said last week.
You said a lot.
I said a lot last week, so this is my retraction week right here, getting all this stuff corrected. Darryl, you got the return match from September the 6th, where Kinston won 30-26 right here in Viking Stadium in K-Town. Now they're going back to Ayden Griffin to play this game, and this is a big rivalry. Only 14 miles separate both of these schools. They live pretty much in the same district of Lenoir County. Just Ayden Griffin's on the other side of Kinston, then you get to Kinston, over there where Kinston High's at. Kinston's been on the road, Darryl. After suffering 2 losses during week 1 and week 2, they went on a 5-game win streak, and a good win streak. One of those was Ayden Griffin. They have not lost that many games, but the ones they have lost were close games. James Keeney in Warsaw, 28-25. Then another loss to Wallace Rose Hill, 14-13, which those two teams are playing each other this week in the playoffs. So this is a good team. It's led by great players. Tyreek Cooper leads the team with receiving yards. OK Elders is a receiver for Kinston. Then they kind of run, they memorize on the run when I watched them on film this week. They're more of a heavy pass team, less run. They run that shotgun spread offense. You got a mobile quarterback in Tyler Jones that's a junior that's thrown for 29 yards in that kind of shotgun spread offense. So this team is balanced. But then when you look at the defense, this is where I saw the difference with Kinston right here, Darryl. You got Christian Ham, 4 interceptions. Xavier Kuhn, 2 interceptions. Ryan Parks, Isaiah Newton, leading with sacks, averaging 2 sacks a game. Xavier Coons leading with tackles. And the thing is, he's leading with tackles, Darryl, but guess what position he play on defense?
What's that?
He's a strong safety.
Oh.
Now, anybody that knows football knows your safety and your strong safety are your last defense.
Right, that's it.
You know, they don't supposed to go look at contact. They supposed to stay at home. This young man goes looking contact.
Okay.
To be able to be leading the team, leading your linebackers and your D linemen in tackles. He's looking contact. Darryl, this is a good team, and I got a message from a good friend of mine who works at the city of Kinston. She watched the Grit and Grind.
Okay.
She heard that comment I made last week, and a comment that you kind of signed off on after I made it. I said, would Kinston be playing basketball this week?
Don't put me in the comment now.
I made that comment and you said, yes, they will be playing basketball. Football will be over. Well, she reached out to me Saturday morning.
Okay.
Because she was going to do it Friday night. But she knew we was at the Rolesville Nash game. So she waited Saturday morning, reached out to him. And she just said, I want to remind Grit and Grind that we're not playing basketball in Kinston right now.
Okay.
We still playing football. And she said, if we need a reminder that they're not playing basketball, you can go by the Holloway Rec Center, where the Greats played at, in Kinston.
Okay.
Or you can come by Kinston Viking Stadium and see that the lights in the gym are off right now.
Oh, they still
Because
off.
the football lights are still on.
Okay.
And she said one more thing, Darryl. She said, if you need one more reminder that we not playing basketball, that we playing football, then she'll get Coach Jerry Stackhouse to give us a call.
Oh, is that right?
She'll get Brandy Ingram to give us a call. She'll get Reggie Bullock to give us a call to let us know that they're not playing basketball in Kinston because they still playing football.
They still playing football.
Darryl, you got to tell me about Ayden Griffin, the home team hosting this game.
Ayden Griffin said they playing football too. And they're coming in this game 8-4. They won the Eastern Plain 2A Conference this season. Last time Ayden Griffin has made it to the 3rd round was in 2013. And they lost in that game to Northeastern 41-35. But this team right here started off slow. They had 3 losses in the beginning of the season.
Okay.
WPA in overtime. Then they lost to Martin, and then they lost to this Kinston team.
Right.
But since that loss to Kinston, this Ayden Griffin team has gone 8-1 of the season. And it started with their quarterback play, Nate Brooks, over 1,800 yards passing for the season. He's got 17 touchdowns. And in the last game that they played against Kinston, he threw for 220 yards.
Okay.
Between him and E.J. Ruffin, 1,300 yards rushing for them. So you got 2 good players on the offensive side of the ball, and then that wide receiver core. I mean, it starts with Morgan, Nelson, Ewan, Lofton, over 1,800 yards all combined as far as receiving for them. They got a good team. They're playing good football at the right time. Defensive-wise, you got Outlaw, Morgan, Fuller. Those guys have been balling for them. And Ayden Griffin is ready for this game because they know in that Kinston game, they had a chance.
They did.
They had an opportunity to win that game early in the season, and they let it slip by. But this is another opportunity for them to win this game and go to the 4th round. So if keys to win to this game for me, for Ayden Griffin, is stay focused and be ready to play come Friday night. And just, like I said, bring that energy that you have because you know Kinston's coming in because they're not playing basketball.
They're not playing basketball in
and
Kinston.
they're ready to play. So Ayden Grifton just got to be ready.
Well, Dale, if you're Kinston, you don't want to go to play basketball right now. You want to extend another week of playoff football. The keys to victory are easy. Do what you do best in that shotgun spread offense. Spread the ball. If there's something not open and you're the quarterback, check it down to the running back and tight end. And the defense just has to be doing what they've been doing all season. Stay explosive, not getting anything big behind them, not getting beat. This is a rival game.
Right.
And you already won it. So sometimes you can come in this game with less energy than you had the first game.
Right.
You got to produce that same amount of energy you had the first time you played your rival in this game. And if kids are able to do this, they could not be playing basketball. They could be playing football for one more week.
Well,
I got to pick, Darryl.
Yeah, we got to pick, but we got to wait on that.
We got to save it. Darryl, our next game, let's go to 3A football. It is the 4-8 number 30C J.H. Rose going to play the number 6C who's 10-2, Southern Durham, or the new name, the School of Energy and Sustainability.
All right, the mama named them Southern Durham. I'm calling them Southern Durham. That's what I'm
It's
going
always going to be Southern Durham. Smart to me. You know, maybe about 4 more seasons, we'll get used to this new name. We'll be able to say it. But right now, it's going to be Southern Durham. Down the road team. I'm coming in from Greenville. I'm with Coach Bland again on the bus. Now I'm going past Nash County, going through Wade County, going up to Durham County to play a hot 10-2 Southern Durham team. And I'm going to say it just like I said last week. I'm going to lead off like that, Darryl. This is a game that not a lot of people had in their brackets. Not unless you went to J.H. Rose or you're an alumni, you're a J.H. Rose student, or a J.H. Rose fan, or a J.H. Rose fan. You had them going to this round. But if you're anybody else in the state of North Carolina, you say after Northern, they were done. And if they got past Northern, got to Southern, they would be done. But guess what? They're still playing football. Rose, and we're going to say it again. This is going to sound like a broken record because we said it last week, but we'll say it again. Rose got some losses. But all the losses they got are caliber teams there. New Hanover, Northeastern, Northern Nash, Hoggard. That's how they start off their non-conference play 0-4. Then the first game of conference play, you had to play a hot team in Jacksonville.
Yeah, all playoff teams.
Every one of them. You're 0-5, but you know, it's not how you start off. It's how you finish.
That's it.
You know, old saying that you say it's not how you come to the party, it's how you arrive to the party. They have arrived to the party in the playoffs because they're playing good football, and playing good football started when they were able to get that win over their rivals, South Central in Winterville, then beat Northside Jacksonville. And then they kind of had some slip-ups because they had to go play half-lot last game of the season, but they came into the playoffs and they had that mentality of, we have played good teams, and we know we were able to hang with these teams, so that makes us a good team. And we said the best, even now at 4-8, they're the best 4-8 team in the playoffs. And right now, I got to use that Warren County sentence for them. They're the hottest 3A team in the playoffs. But Darryl, if you look at this team right here, a lot of people said it was lucky breaks. Northern Nash's running back was out. Southern Nash running back was out. I don't say that because at the end of the day, what is it? Next man up.
That's it. That's
we
what
can't
I'm
play football.
Next man up.
up.
And they were ready to play.
This Rose team played a scary non-conference schedule. We just talked about it, but they got good players. 2 of them were the grit and grind players this week. They got Tevin Council. He was the grit player from Friday night. They got Domani Evans, who was the grit player on grind player Friday night, and also the grit player this week. They got good players on this team. You got Jaidon Lovett, the wide receiver, Quinn McCaffrey, Dawson Davis, Jimmy Martin, all this stuff that makes a caliber team. Then you got Greg Ransom, Taurus Brown, and Wright Collins. This team can do it. And one thing about this team is you can't look at record, Darryl. Because one thing about a team that's got a losing record, they're 4-8. If you keep winning, you get to 500.
That's it.
Then when you get to 500, you get over 500. And if they keep going on the road they're going to be at 500 or over 500 by the end of this season. It's a good team, and I'm going to leave like this. The same way I left last week is the same way I'm going to leave. Take it to you before you tell me about Southern Durham. A man playing with house money is a dangerous man because he's coming to the table.
Yeah.
He's coming to the game on Friday night, and he has nothing to lose. He's accomplished everything he wanted. He's playing with the house money because he has nothing to lose. He has nothing invested in this game. He's coming to play, and I'll say this just like I said last week, and I'll just take out Nash and put Durham. J.H. Rose does not have to beat Southern Durham or the Southern School of Energy and Sustainability.
Yeah.
Southern Durham or the Southern School of Sustainable Energy, say that 4 times fast, has to beat J.H. Rose.
Well, Southern Durham is coming in this game 10-2, and this is like one of the best starts for them since 2019 when they won. They had a record of 10-2, and they went to the first round against Grays Creek. They won their conference, the Northern Lakes 2A, 3A conference. Last week they beat the Knights 21-10. I mean, they've beaten teams like Chapel Hill, Hillside, Wake Forest, Vance County, J.F. Webb, Lewisburg, Fight. Teams in our area, they have won those games. So this is a good Southern Durham team with a great quarterback. And I'm going to say it because this kid has thrown, Tyson Broadway has thrown for over 3,000 yards for the season, 19 touchdowns. Has a running back in Holloway who's got over 800 yards rushing the ball. So those two combinations, and then with that wide receiver core they got with Dylan, Van, Scott, Henderson, 2,500 yards receiving, 14 touchdowns between all those wide receivers. They got weapons on offense.
Okay.
I don't know if J.F. Webb have seen, not J.F. Webb. I'm over here talking J.F. Webb. J.F. Rose have seen a team like this that can throw the ball just like them and got an offense that can run and a quarterback that's mobile that can get the ball down the field. Defense-wise, you got Richmond, Roberts, Henderson, Sanders, Hargrave, Campbell. Those guys have been playing good defense for them as well. And they're prepared to come into this game because, again, a lot of people didn't think Southern Durham was supposed to be here either in this third round.
A lot of people said that.
So Southern Durham has something to prove as well coming into this game. And they're playing at home, and the environment is going to be set up for them. You coming right off eating that turkey on Thursday.
You don't have to travel that far.
You got to travel that far, and you're coming home, and you're playing a good J.H. Rose team. And keys to win this game for me is play good defense. If Southern Durham can play good defense, they give themselves a chance. Keep the game close, and just be ready to play. That's the biggest thing. Be ready to play come Friday night. And if Southern Durham can do that, you got a good chance.
Well, if you're J.H. Rose, what you want to do to Keys Ridge is week 1 of the playoffs, round 1, you threw the ball on Northern Nash.
Right.
Round 2, you ran the ball on Southern Nash. Balance it up. You can run and throw. Balance it up. Don't take Southern Durham lightly.
That's it. That's the biggest
I
thing.
know they play in their conference. You just named all of them with 2A and 3A teams. But all of those schools in that conference are good teams that play good football, that's got good students that play good football and great coaches over there.
So we got to pick on this.
And they can light the scoreboard down.
They can light
and if you're J.H. Rose, I watched Southern Durham today on film. What you want to do is you cannot let him sit back to the quarterback and pick you apart.
That's it.
You got to rattle him up.
You got
to play Rose football, Darryl. And the last thing you got to do is guess what? I'll say it again. You're 4-8. You already accomplished a lot. You're playing with house money. You don't have to beat Southern Durham. Southern Durham has to beat you. Darryl, let's jump to our 4A game.
All right.
11-1 Rolesville Rams versus the 10-2 Richmond Raiders. You the road team.
Yeah, I'm the road team. So Roseville's coming to this game 11-1. Last week they beat Pinecrest 45-8. And the only loss Roseville had this season is against Grimsley, and that was early in the season.
Okay.
But as far as for Roseville, this is like that quarterback. I go with Atkinson. And, I mean, he had 2 touchdowns in that game against Pinecrest. And that running game with Brown and Presley, 3 touchdowns total for those 2 guys. For me, you want to play good defense for Roseville because you're going down to Richmond, and Richmond has a good offense as far as a good offensive line, good players on the offensive side of the ball. So key players for Roseville is going to be that quarterback, Atkinson. 2,800 yards for the season passing, 38 touchdowns. You got Thomas running the ball for them. You got Brown. Wide receivers, Robert, Alford, and Waddell has been playing some great football for them, getting open down the field. This is going to be a tough challenge for Roseville because I don't think they've seen a team like Richmond other than that Grimsley game. But going into it, defense is the biggest thing for Roseville. You want to make sure you're ready to play come Friday night, and key players for them on defense is Wright, Harris, Alton, Bryant, those guys just got to step up for Rolesville and just play the football that they've been playing all season long.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. If they could do that, you got a good chance to win, but it's going to be tough. But tell me about Richmond.
It's a tough game, there. It's the Richmond Raiders in Rockingham, North Carolina. They beat Clayton last week in round 2. The only 2 losses they got is the 71st, week 1. Hit 71st for everything they had. We talked about that week 1 of the show right here on Grit and Grind. Then they lost to Cardinal Gibbons in Raleigh. It's a good team, and they play good teams over there in the Sand Hills. They got a lot of good players over there. Jordan Bastott, Chance Crowder, Bob Peggis, Kiana Davis, the junior quarterback, Dominic Tillman. But this is what sticks out to me about this team, Daryl. Tiandre Spencer, 17 sacks. You got Kamari Morgan, 7 sacks. Bob Peggis, 4 interceptions. This team is not an offensive balanced team. They are a defense-heavy team. The keys to victory for the Richmond Raiders, guess what, Daryl? Let the defense just be physical. Play your game.
Yeah, that's it.
Play Richmond football at its best. The people in the community understand that you're not an offensive team, that you are a defensive-minded team, and then you got to put pressure on the quarterback.
That's it.
If you can do that, you can give yourself a chance to win this game. I got to pick on this one, Daryl.
All right.
But I got to save it.
You got to save it.
For the quick pick. We'll get ready to jump into a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for the Grit and Grind Prime Time Game of the Week. Welcome back to the Grit and Grind.
Yeah.
You just heard something. Jace Rose.
Jace Rose brand for bringing us back in.
Daryl, we got a good game in 1A football. You got the 10-2 Warren County Eagles, the hottest team in 1A football, going to Valhalla to play the 10-1 Tarboro Vikings in the land of champions.
Yep.
Daryl, a lot about this game, a game that Warren County wanted to get to. They're here now. Tell me about the Eagles of Warren County.
Well, the Eagles of Warren County, like you said, they're 10-2 coming into this game. And had a great win last week against Procurement, won 42-0. And this team is playing some great football right now. And since the loss to Wilson Prep, this defense has only allowed, I want to say 14 points in 4 games and scored 185 points in those 4 games. So this offense has been just grinding it out and scoring, and the defense has been playing great defense for them. Again, players for them that we've talked about all season long. It starts with Fields, Graham, Douglas, Hawkins on offense. Those guys have just been the key players for them as far as for Warren County. And then that defensive core is Chavis, Heyman, Townsend, Martin, Yancey have been playing good defense for them. And looking at this game and looking at Tarboro and what Tarboro has and what Warren County has, I want to say, if I'm Tarboro, I don't want to take this team lightly because this Warren County team has gone through the battles and have been battle tested and have shown that they can score and that they can play good defense.
Okay.
And if they can stop the run on Tarboro, that will give them a chance late in that 4th quarter because that's all we want to do is keep the game close.
Okay.
If you can keep that game close to that 4th quarter, you give yourself an opportunity to win. But play for keys to win, play your game if you're Warren County. Do what you've been doing all season. You ain't got nothing to lose. This is a great opportunity for you. You made it to the 3rd round. A great start. Enjoy the moment. Hey, you're going down to Tarboro. Enjoy the atmosphere, but be ready to play and play smart. And finally, play with some emotion, which you have done all season long.
Okay.
You're going to bring your fans down there. Everybody's going to be pumped up, ready for this game. So just let it out and just have a great time and give yourself a chance late in that 4th quarter. And I think if they can keep it close, they can come out with a win. But we got to pick on this. But tell me more about Tarboro, Sean.
Daryl, it's round 3. It's in Valhalla, in the land of champions. Warren County's biggest game. Warren County's probably not made it to the 3rd round in a bunch of years. Been a long time. So this is the biggest game ever in Warren County's history. But as we always say, for these teams that's got to come to Valhalla in the playoffs, you want to get in, but the gatekeeper standing at the gate, the Tarboro Vikings, holding the key, saying, if you want to get in, you got to get through us. And it's Tarboro. It's the epitome of excellency when we come to 1A football. It's 6 state championships under Coach Jeff Craddock. It's 8 state championships in general. It's all the heritage and the lineage I talk about on the show. The billboard when you come down 64. All of that stuff that kicks in when you get there, that intimidation factor. Tarboro's won some good games. Rocky Mount, Hereford County, the rival North Edgecombe, the rival SWE, Bertie, Perquimans, Martin County, and the list goes on. The only loss they got this year is the game we were at when they played Havelock. And they were in that game at the beginning, but Havelock just had a little too much firepower that Tarboro just could not weather the storm to get out of to win that game. But if you're Tarboro, you got all this stuff going on. You got former ground players, Cameron McDowell Moore. You got another former ground player, Mason Satterfield, another former ground player, Cole Craddock, another former ground player, Caden Everett, and then that defense is led by Cole, leading with tackles. You got Tyler Powell, leading with sacks, averaging 16 on the season. He's averaging roughly 2.5 to 3 sacks per game. Then you got Jalen Farbick there, 3 interceptions. Kip Biggs, 3 interceptions. Brandon Jones, 2 interceptions. Then you got the quarterback, Tyler Powell, showing you that we don't beat you with the run, but we can beat you with the pass this year. 11 touchdowns, Daryl. It's Tarboro. It's the Tarboro T. My keys to victory for this game is 1. You're playing the hottest 1A team in football right now.
Right.
The resume says it for Warren County. We've been talking about it since the Battle 85 game, how they just been on a hot streak, hot road. Don't take them lightly. They're coming into your house. They know how to win on the road. Don't take them lightly. Run the offense. Tarboro runs one of the most complex offenses in the state. Run the offense and make that defense have to read you on the field. Get after the Warren County running backs, wide receiver, quarterbacks. Their skill players are among the top skill players in 1A football. We've seen how fast they get down the field. And then guess what, Darryl? Just play Tarboro football all 4 quarters of the game. And if you do that, you can come out with a win. I got to pick. I know you got to pick.
I got to pick.
And speaking of quick picks, Darryl, it's time to make some quick picks right here on the Grit Grind. But before we make, let's see how we did last week.
Let's see.
You got me about 1. You got me about 1, but we tied. We tied again.
Last week I got you.
You got me about 1.
Got
you got me about 1.
That's right.
You got 1 over. You got 1.
That's right.
We give you that 1. We give you that.
Somebody was talking a little junk.
We owe you that. We owe you that. We let you get
it. Let's get situated and get these picks in for the week.
Yes, sir. And we're going to start right here in 1A playoff football. Number 12, Gates County versus number 4, Pender County.
I'm going Pender.
I got to go Pender. They look good on paper. And they look good when we watch them on tape. Number 3, Wilson Pratt hosted number 6, Northmore. This is one I went back and forth on. Because these are 2 good teams. Don't let the 6 fool you for no more.
It's going to be a close game, but I'm going Wilson Pratt for the win.
It's at home. I'm taking WPA by a field goal. Close game for WPA. Number 10, Lakewood versus number 2, North Dublin. 2 good teams. Don't take the 10 on Lakewood. Don't let it fool you.
Don't let it fool you, but I think I'm going North Dublin.
They're going to North Dublin. Something about North Dublin, they're always around the playoffs this time of the year. Darryl, let's jump over to 2A. Number 1, Northeastern versus number 24, West Craven. Nobody
this is going to be a good game.
Getting this far.
Didn't see them getting this far. This is going to be a good game. I'm going to go, I'm going West Craven.
West Craven Eagles for the upset.
For the upset. I'm going West
Northeastern, in Elizabeth City.
In Elizabeth City.
I'm going Northeastern. I'm sticking with the Eagles in Northeastern. The Eagle will win this game, but it'll be the Northeastern Eagles. Number 12, James Keenan versus number 4, Wallace Rose Hill. They said, let's run it back.
They said,
run it back again.
James Keaton is still playing in the playoffs. I'm going James Keaton. They playing some good football right now.
James Keaton is playing good football.
I'm going James Keaton.
I'm going Wallace Rose Hill, the Bulldogs, to get a win. It's at the Bulldog Stadium. I'm going with the Bulldogs. Number 7, Eastern Wayne versus Whiteville. Will the Warrior streak continue on? Have they been a hot team in 2A football, or will the Pack of Whiteville send them the basketball season?
I think I'm going Whiteville on this.
As bad as I want to go Eastern Wayne, I got to go with the Pack of Whiteville to send them the basketball season. 3A football, Darryl. Havelock Rams playing the Scotland, fighting the Scots that are the 24 seed. Scotland had to beat Terry Sanford to get to this game. Something about the fighting Scots, you always hear their name around the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely hear their names around playoffs. I'm going Havelock on this, though.
I got to sit with the Havelock Rams. I haven't bet against them yet. Won't start now. Our next game, there, the 12th seed, the Jacksonville Cardinals versus Cape Fear. A lot of people thought ACOT was going to be able to beat Cape Fear, but you said last week they had a mobile quarterback.
They got a mobile quarterback.
And they can put up points.
And put up points, and they got a good running game, too. I'm sticking with Cape Fear on this.
I'm going with Jacksonville. I like the Cardinals. I saw them play 2 years ago. Same team. None of the kids graduated. I'm going with the Cardinals. And now, our next game in 3A football, the 2 seed, 71st versus the 10th seed, the North Brunswick Scorpions.
I'm going 71st. I think,
It's 71st.
71st is, they beat Rocky Mount last week.
They did.
And they took care of business early in that game. And I think 71st is on a mission to get back to that state championship.
I'm going 71st, and Coach Malone will be reaching out to you in a few weeks to get you on the Coach's Corner again. Now, down to 4A football, Cleveland, the 1 seed, hosting the 8 seed Jordan. Jordan Falcons out of Durham coming to Cleveland.
I'm going Cleveland on this.
I got to go Cleveland Rams.
Yeah.
Last week, they kind of scared me, but I think they bounced back.
Yeah.
You got to have that one game you weathered the storm.
Yeah.
That was it for them.
That was that.
Our next game, Daryl, was the 3 seed Hoggard hosting 11 seed Millbrook, another team that nobody saw winning last week.
Millbrook had to go down to New Bern last week.
And we didn't think they could beat New Bern. I said New Bern would win.
Yeah, I did too. But Millbrook came out with a W, but you playing a good Hoggard team. I'm going Hoggard.
I'm going Hoggard because it's in Hoggard. If it was in Wake County, it would be different, but I'm going Hoggard.
Yeah.
That ride gets to you. You can't go down twice. Like no strike twice. Our next game there, another team nobody saw, the 23 seed Hillside beating Wake Forest last week to get to the 3rd round, but they got to go to Cardinal Gibbons to play in Raleigh.
I'm going Cardinal Gibbons.
Crusade, that's just a tough place to play in.
It's hard to play.
I've been to a game up there, and you talk about a loud stadium. You can hear them over there at PNC. That's how loud they are.
Yeah.
I got to go Cardinal Gibbons. The Crusaders win. Now, Daryl, it's time for the grit and grind marquee games of the week. I'm telling you, as the week progresses on, the picks get slimmer and
slimmer.
Our first game, Daryl, the number 19 seed kids who said they're not playing basketball, going down the street to play their rival, Ayden Grifton, a team that they beat at home 4 weeks ago.
I'm going to go Ayden Grifton. I think Ayden Grifton bounced back. They playing some good football right now since that loss against Kinston early in the season.
Okay.
And, I'm going Ayden Grifton on this.
If it was in Kinston, I would take Kinston. I'm going Ayden Grifton. I'm telling you, if Kinston win, I will be getting a text Saturday morning reminding me they're not playing basketball. Our next game, Daryl, in 3A football, Southern Durham hosting J.H. Rose. J.H. Rose, the Road Warriors right now.
Yeah.
Do the Road Warriors go up to Durham and get a win against Southern Durham?
I think right now, it's two things that's going on when you at this point in the season, if you're in your playoffs. You want to be healthy.
Right.
And you want to be mentally engaged in the game.
Battle
tested, mentally ready to play. And I think J.H. Rose has both of those things right now. So I'm going to go J.H. Rose in this game.
I'm going Coach Brand, J.H. Rose. I think they go to Southern Durham and get another win on the road and get to that 4th round. Our next game, Daryl, in 4A football will be Rolesville versus Richmond. Rolesville leaving out of Rolesville, North Carolina, traveling down to Rockingham. Talk about a long bus ride.
Yeah, that's a bus ride.
Long bus ride for Coach Ray.
Yeah, I think Coach Ray's going to have the guys ready to play, though, but I'm going Roseville on there.
I'm going Roseville. I think everybody's been looking forward to this game, but Roseville comes out with a win.
Yeah.
Close win for Roseville.
Yeah, close.
Our next game, that's the grit grind.
Prime time.
Game of the week, the game we will be at on Friday night. Warren County leaving Warrenton, North Carolina, traveling to Tarboro to Valhalla, riding past the billboard on 64, walking past all of the greats who played at Tarboro, all of that stuff you heard me talk about on the grit grind. And then you know what always happens then?
What's that?
The intimidation factor kicks in, but will it kick in for a team like Warren County that's mentally tough and is ready for a challenge of this type of game?
No, it will not kick in. I'm going Warren County in this game. That's right. Warren County is going to get that upset in this game right here.
I don't even got to say final answer because you gave too I can say final answer.
Warren County.
It does
Eagles
not
all
kick
the
in.
way. Eagle pride.
That team is mentally tough. They're mentally tough.
Yes.
They cannot be broken. They're on probably one of the hottest streaks they ever been on in Warren County in a long time.
Yeah.
But you're going to Tarboro. to the land of the champs. It's the reason why they're the champs, Daryl. It's the reason why they're the gatekeeper. Give me the Tarboro Vikings for the win. I'm taking the Vikings of Tarboro for the win.
All right, and we'll be at that game Friday night.
That will be our game. We're at Friday night, Daryl. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning into the Grit and Grind. But before we sign off, Daryl, tell everybody how they can follow us on our Instagram information to be able to see what we're doing on Friday night.
All right, you can follow us on our Instagram at Grit and Grind Podcast NC. And also, you can, where else can they follow us at, John?
You can follow us on Studio 67 NCC on YouTube and on Instagram. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Give us the big thumbs up if you like this content. So every time something drops on Studio 67 NCC, YouTube, or Instagram, you can get alert. And guess what, Daryl? If you cannot watch the Grit and Grind live show because you're in traffic right now and you got to keep your eyes on the road, you can get the same experience on the Grit and Grind podcast edition on Spotify and Amazon Music under Studio 67. Same experience without the live show. You'll get it all in the audio version. Right. Well, Daryl, we got a big game Friday night.
Yep.
Rolesville.
Yep.
Going down there to play Richmond.
Yep.
You got Warren County and Tarboro, Southern Durham, Jaidon Rose, kids Ayden, Grifton. We will be at the Tarboro game. We'll be in Vocational. That's right, Tarboro. I'm bringing them back 2 times this year. We will be down there. And as always, for sign off, Daryl, do you have the grit?
And do you have the grind?
And we'll see you next week on the Grit and Grind.